So I need your help with something. I think we need to think about the future, and I was wondering if you could help me because I had to answer some questions about the end of my life, and I was wondering if you would tell me what some of your answers would be.
Sure.
Okay. Let's see. So some background information. 90% of people feel that talking about end of life care with loved ones is important, but only 27% of people actually do it. 56% of people have not communicated their end of life wishes, and only 23% of people have put their wishes into writing. So that's why I think it's really important that we talk about it, because as you like from those numbers, that's not a lot of people, and you never know when something can happen. Let's see. So, do you have any particular concerns about your health, like right now?
Yes.
Um, like, elaborate a little bit. Like,
I mean, I'm getting closer to 50, so there's a lot of concerns from my heart. I have thyroid disease, so I'm concerned. I need to take better care of myself.
do you think that there's any like affairs or anything that like we would have to get in order with a doctor, or something that would be that serious right now?
Um, I don't think immediately, but I don't think people realize that things happen all the time, every day, and you're not prepared. So, I mean, it's a good idea to be prepared in advance.
Mm-hmm. And then, let's see. What about? Do you know who you want to be involved when something happens?
Yes.
Like, who do you want to be involved in the care, and who do you want to make the decisions? Do you know who those people are?
Definitely.
Do you feel like those people know who they are?
I don't think, besides my husband, I don't think, like, you know that you're next in line. I
Mhm.
mean, but you are. You're my eldest child.
Is there anybody that you don't want involved, like that you wouldn't want?
Um, I've never thought about that, but I guess,
Because privacy is a big issue too, you know.
Yeah.
Like when I was answering these, I was thinking like I wouldn't want a lot of people, like
that's true.
other people, to know my business,
Yeah,
even though they're family.
That's true. I never thought about that, but yeah, there's probably a little list of people that I would rather not.
Okay, and then what about, is there important milestones that you want to obviously be around for?
Oh yeah, definitely. I want to see grandchildren.
Hmm.
Definitely.
And then, what about, have you thought about like treatments that you would want or that you would never want? Like, there's things like ventilation, feeding tubes, even like organ donation. How do you feel about that stuff?
I've thought about a lot of that. I mean, I definitely would donate my organs because our family has benefited from that. So I think that's a great thing. I would definitely want every chance that I can get to stay, if I could stay and have a quality of life. I wouldn't want to be maybe on a feeding tube and on a ventilator if I could never come back. But if there's a chance I could, I probably would want to like a chance. But if there was like no brain activity, I would not want to be kept on anything.
So you said quality of life is really important.
Yeah.
Because.
If I'm just like a vegetable with a heartbeat, I would not want that.
And then that obviously has a toll on the family and stuff too, right?
And it's expensive, and it has to be heartbreaking, and that's just not a life.
But if there is like hope for some type of recovery or treatment, you would want to go through with.
I think
like,
so.
Within reason.
Within reason. If I was 99 years old, then no.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But yeah, within reason.
Okay, and then how about, obviously, like when we go to the doctor and stuff, they're gonna have their opinions and their says about what you should do, or about what we should do, like as a family, if you want the family to all be involved in that decision. Do you want the family to be like around when they're is there, if there's like a diagnosis one day or something, or would you rather just like talk to dad and have him there and then you guys tell us later?
I think that would depend on what kind of illness. Maybe if I were in a sound mind, maybe if I had like something like dementia and I couldn't make my own choices,
Then you would want like everybody
I would
involved?
probably need everybody involved because it would be a decision that would affect everyone. But I think I would probably not want to burden anyone until I would know exactly what was going on. So probably make my own decision, maybe with your dad, and then involve everyone.
So you feel like um, it would maybe be like burdening other people if you were to like give that concern to like us.
Maybe initially.
Okay. And then we talked about privacy a little bit, about who you wanted to be around. Some people want to be alone. Would you ever want to be like left alone or left like not totally alone, but maybe like give me some space?
Yeah, I could see that.
And then how about help me finish the sentence? What matters to me at the end of life is.
I say what matters to me at the end of life would be being surrounded by my family, having them with me, and knowing that we had a good life together, and that when I leave, there's good memories.
Okay, that seems nice and acceptable. Let's see, what about, so obviously nothing's ever set in stone. Like you could always change your mind, even if you did want to write some stuff down or like have maybe some sort of advance directive like a will or a healthcare proxy. You could always change your mind because obviously circumstances change. So maybe what you want right now might not be what you want later on in life. So it's important that, I feel like it's important that you know that. And it's also important for us to talk about stuff like this now, or not necessarily now, but like before a medical emergency or a crisis does happen, and not during the crisis, not try to figure this and the crisis out at the same time. It's also important that you know that if you did want to do an advance directive, you could do a form from a doctor. You could ask them for like, depending on what you want, you could write down your wishes yourself, or you could like call a lawyer and have them set something up for you. And again, nothing's set in stone. You could always change your mind. Even if you already have something written down, you could still change your mind. And then there's obviously a few different legal medical documents that are involved at the end of life. Do you know like about them? Do you have, obviously you've heard of them.
I've just heard of like a do not resuscitate, but that's about it.
Okay, so that is one of them. Do not resuscitate. Like if you stop breathing or if your heart stops, would you want a do not resuscitate order?
No, I think I would, because I have a heart condition, and
So
I've had
this
to
is
be
important.
resuscitated before, so I would be okay with that, within reason.
Right. Okay, so that's important for us to know. That's definitely appropriate. And then, in addition to the DNRs, there's also living wills. So those specify like what you want to be done or what you don't want to be done, like treatments and medications and stuff like that, if you're not able to make your decisions anymore. So like you said, like you have dementia one day or something, living will maybe is something that we do before that comes about. And then advance directive is another one. That one just describes what wishes you want at the end of your life. So maybe like what ventilation and feeding tubes and stuff like that, what treatments you would want, what like interference you would want the doctors to do, even like your funeral arrangements, stuff like that, who you want around, like we talked about. And then there's also one called healthcare proxy. That one maybe could be appropriate for you because you have a person act on your behalf, If you can't make your decisions, kind of like a healthcare agent, maybe like dad, or if something happened to him one day and he wasn't here, maybe me or one of my sisters. And then we already talked about the do not resuscitate order. So you feel like any of those are applicable?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I mean, they're obviously all appropriate, but maybe like the healthcare proxy would be something to think about, since we know that you have your heart condition, and maybe something happens one day, dad has to say yay or nay or whatever.
Yeah,
So that
definitely.
one's maybe important, and that one's really appropriate for you.
I definitely think that's a good idea.
And then, so just like to finish up and close up everything, is there anything that you feel like you want to talk about, or that we didn't really talk about?
No, but I'm glad that you brought this up and that this isn't your assignment, because it's something to think about.
I think it's important because a lot of people don't think about it.
Right.
Like we said, like maybe they don't think about it until something happens.
Right, and then it's hard to make a decision when there's a lot of emotion involved. So
And also maybe like family conflict too.
exactly.
So it's important to, because obviously we all have like different personalities, and maybe what I want for you maybe is not what Ashley or Emily
Right.
want.
And if everybody knows what I want, then they
It'll
can't be
just
mad at each other.
exactly, we would just prevent all that chaos that would happen in addition to
Right.
whatever we're dealing with medically. And then, do you feel anything needs like more clarification, or like maybe did I misinterpret anything? Do you feel like everything was pretty clear? We talked about everything, and you don't have like any unanswered questions or
No,
nothing.
I think it was very clear.
And then, just to finish off, last question: who else should know what we talked about today?
Your father, your sisters,
Just so like just our immediate,
immediate family, your wife, my other daughter.
just obviously we should all know, and then we could all be on the same page, like you said,
Exactly.
and there'll never be any conflict or anything if someday one day something were to happen.
Exactly.
So let's see. So there's a couple little exercises that I think are good for us to do. It's like a scale of 1 to 5, and it's like different sentences of different scenarios, and then you can just rate them, and then they'll help me to understand like how you feel about different topics. So like, for example, the first one is, as a patient, I'd like to know, and then on a scale from 1 to 5, the number 1 would be only the basics about my condition and treatment, and number 5 would be all the details about my condition and treatment. So for that one, where would you rank?
I would say 5. I would want to know everything.
Know all the details, because there's some people that don't want to know the details.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. No, I would want to know everything.
Okay, and then let's see. So the second one is, as doctors treat me, I would like, number 1 is my doctors to do what they think is best, or number 5, to have a say in every decision. So as doctors treat me, I would like,
I would say I wouldn't want them to do whatever they wanted. I would want some input. So definitely not them doing whatever they want. But I'm not a doctor either. So maybe a half and half.
so maybe like out of 5, maybe like 3, right in the middle.
Yeah, I would say maybe a 3.
Okay. What about, if I had a terminal illness, I would prefer to, number 1 would be not know how quickly it is progressing. Number 5, know my doctor's estimation for how long I want to live.
Wow.
Yeah, that one's hard. I don't think I would want to know. I don't think I could like go on like normal if I knew like, oh, I only have 3 months.
Right.
I think I would probably want to know, but I probably wouldn't want to. I would probably want to know like that I'm progressing or that I'm getting to that point, but
Yeah, that's a hard one. I'm not sure how. Maybe I would want to know
like a 2.
a rough estimate, but not an exact.
Yeah. Yeah, same with me. And then let's see. How long do you want to receive medical care? Number 1 would be indefinitely, no matter how uncomfortable treatments are. Number 5, we kind of talked about this. Quality of life is more important to me than quantity. Okay.
I'd say quality of life is more important.
So that one's all the way like on number 5. You think that's
But yeah, you're right about that. I'll go with 3.
Okay, like maybe in the middle. What are your concerns about treatment? Number 1 would be I'm worried that I won't get enough care. Number 5, I'm worried that I'll get overly aggressive care.
4. I
Like a
think a lot
4.
of people are getting a lot of medicines and treatments that they might not necessarily need.
Right. Okay. Okay, and then the last few. How involved do you want your loved ones to be? We kind of talked about this too. Number 1 would be I would want my loved ones to do exactly what I said, even if it makes them a little uncomfortable. And number 5 would be I want my loved ones to do what brings them peace, even if it goes against what I said.
I'll say number 2 on that.
So more towards like respect your wishes,
I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, but
but
yes.
at the end of the day, they're your wishes, so
Right.
we should respect those. Okay, that makes sense. And then when it comes to your privacy, 1, when the time comes, I want to be alone. Number 5, I want to be surrounded by my loved ones.
That's hard to answer, but I'm pretty sure I would not want to be by myself.
Yeah. So maybe like a 3. Well, I mean, I guess it depends
Yeah, I
on the
guess it
situation.
depends on the situation. If my loved ones were hurting too much, then I wouldn't want them to hurt.
Okay, that makes sense. Those that help me like understand a little bit more about what you want and what you don't want. So thank you for the clarification.